Good afternoon, good afternoon. We got Aries in the house. Do a reading for Aries for the month of March. Of course, you can pay to play. It's 1111 for a 1 card, 1 question, which you can do on my PayPal, which is also Ruby Reads Tarot. Don't think those are quite your messages yet, Aries. Let's keep shuffling. Start the reading with peace. Start the reading with positive energy. Find out what's happening for the sign of Aries for the month of March. Big one for you, Aries. Justice card, Libra. There's a full moon in the sign of Libra this month, which means the moon's opposite you. There's a lot of heavy focus on relationships, balancing out relationships. I think a lot of you might actually be cutting ties with certain partners. And I think a little bit of karmic justice might be at play at the moment, Aries. I think you're going to find the right partner is kind of going to slip into your life in March. And that's going to put a really big thing on you about making the right decision about what's actually right for you. There is balancing out that needs to take place in your life at the moment, Aries. Could be in regards to a Libra, could be in regards to a Sagittarius. More Sagittarius energy here, but could be a fellow fire sign Leo or a fellow Aries. Aries, you're really being asked to balance yourself out a little bit. You're really being asked to look at where all your energy is going. And if there's any way you can sort of level it out. There needs to be a bit of a pullback, a bit of a greater understanding about how you might be creating a bit of a disjustice to your life. King of Wands here. I feel as if this new moon in Pisces get you back in line with your truth. Your energy, however, is it really being spent in the best way possible? Queen of Cups, Piscean energy, Cancer and Scorpio also. This could be help from a significant female in your life. This could be the need to really kind of tune into your sensitivities a little bit. This could be you coming to a place now where you're feeling a lot more confident. Emotionally speaking, you're connected. Page of Wands and the Hermit. There could be a message in regards to Virgo energy. Could be in regards to Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio, Libra, Sagittarius, and Leo. Aries, if you have been going back and forth with a Virgo, I think it's time to take a step back. Really try and balance out your energy a little bit. There's a need for moderation, especially in communication when it comes to this person. There are messages that are going backwards and forwards, however. If you can channel into this Neptunian motive energy and really try and figure out how the backwards and forwards might really be stealing from you energetically as well as emotionally, you might decide that the messages that take place once some downtime, once some soul searching's been going on, they might come with more impact, and it might even mean that you have to pull back a little bit from this person, because it might even, I think you might find with so much energy creeping into your sign, this sun energy, there's going to be questions that are going to be quite difficult for you to ignore, and you're really going to have to push through a lot of crap. And Aries, it might even be you having to really humble yourself in order for a message to genuinely be getting across, because at the moment I don't think it is. And I wonder if it is time that you made it quite clear what you want. And if the two of you are reluctant on a commitment or fully committing, then you might need to look at where this cycle has the potential to become quite repetitive. And how much do you really love yourself, Aries? How much do you really love yourself? Because this month might need to do with a lot of self-care. And if the self-care is not there, Aries, it might be time for you to question how some of the actions that you've been sort of doing on autopilot might not necessarily be in the direction of where you really genuinely want to be. And if that is in line with a commitment, where are you not being fair to yourself? 5 of Swords. That's a lot of conflict. A lot of it is unnecessary. It is a little bit juvenile. And it does say, yes, you will win your battles, but it's also kind of like pick your battles wisely. Does there need to be so much conflict? Really? I think, Aries, if you were to take a step back and actually spend a little bit more time in downtime and a little bit more time in quiet reflection, soul searching, you might not be so angry. And if you are angry, you've got to ask yourself why. Why are you getting so triggered right now? And if things aren't how you want them to be, maybe that's a really good sign why you're getting so triggered. Welcome, guys. Welcome, welcome. I see more of you coming through. Doing a reading for Aries here for the month of March 2021. You can also ask a question for a 1-card answer. That's 1111. You can pay on PayPal, Ruby Reads Tarot. Aries, it's a big month for you, and it might mean a lot of emotional clearing out, as well as clearing out people in your life, as well as balancing out certain scales, leveling off your own energy, getting your own confidence back, channeling into a more emotive, as well as emotional understanding of what you want. Page of Wands is communication, it is conversation, it is messages coming back and forth. The Hermit card here means a need for a bit of downtime. There might be a need for you to step away from the conflict a little bit, which might be stealing from your energy. And once you decide to pull away from the conflict, not really let yourself get triggered about every little thing, kind of see what's the cause of all of these problems and nip it in the bud maybe a little bit. I think that was a message in itself, I think. Let's have some more messages for Aries for the month of March 2021. If there are any questions, you guys can pay to play. It's 1111 at PayPal Ruby Reads Tarot for a 1 question, 1 card reading. These do get saved, so you can come back to them at any time you want. But let's have some messages for Aries for the month of March. Some messages for the sign of Aries for the month of March 2021. Three of Swords, Aries, emotional clearing out. These are heartaches of the past. These swords that are still very much present in that heart. This could be a situation that you're currently dealing with that isn't necessarily serving you. This is dealing with that one partner that you just can't get your heart around. Yes, you might love them, but there's a lot of hurt that takes place here. And if it is true, and if it is happy, and if it is real, and if there is love, pull the swords out and heal the situation that has been very much about this once and for all, because you do love. Because you do love yourself. Or you try and put everything aside and really kind of make amends. Put your differences aside if you can. And really try and heal once and for all. And the only way that healing is going to happen is if you let bygones be bygones and the past be the past, and pull the swords out. And once you have decided, right, I'm not going to turn back around, I'm not going to bring this thing back up again, I'm not going to let this time be about anything other than my healing. Beetle, welcome, Cappy, hope you're well. I'm glad the chat's working. Yesterday we couldn't even get a chat to go. Do you know, it's one of those things, Aries. It's kind of the ball's in your court now, and you kind of get to decide. Pull the swords out and heal properly. And for some of you, that might even mean ending a relationship and moving forward. And for some of you, that might even mean actually doing the hard work and healing it and letting bygones be bygones and actually doing the positive healing thing of getting over it and moving on. There is clearing up that does need to be done, though. That healing does need to happen. And the sun's in your, it's about to come into your sign. From Sydney, Australia. Welcome, Australia. Shout out to Australia. Shout out to Australia. Thank you guys for being my number 3 biggest watched region. So much love to you. Have a wonderful, wonderful 2021. Thank you guys so much for your support. Truly appreciated. Great, let's have some messages for Aries for March 2021. You guys can ask some questions. Also, it's 1 question, 1 card, pay to play, 1111. PayPal Ruby Reads Tarot. I'm going to keep shuffling. Let's get some more messages for Aries going. Let's get some messages for Aries for the month of March 2021. 10 of Pentacles. If there is a home situation, Aries, that is just not serving you anymore, and it's just full of too much hurt, it's full of way too much heartache, it's time you decided to release yourself from it. I would always say try and fix it as best as you can. If it can be fixed, fantastic. Give it your best shot. But there's no point in living in pain, and there's no point in holding these swords in your heart if you can make some sort of eternal peace with whatever these swords are. It will be really good for you. There's a funny way Aries have this power, this determination to just keep going even through the pain, to just keep charging forward, because this 10 of Pentacles, the achievement, the money, the prosperity, the ambition is so much more. It's so charged. And Aries, you've got that power. You can really do it if you wish to. You can really turn this pain into power. And I think March is going to be that month for you, where it's really asking you to charge forward in such a way that you can have everything that you've dreamed of, because you've taken that pain and you've been proactive about making amends with it and making right of it. Financially, I think Aries, this month, the month of March, really is going to be a nice prelude to a birthday season. Mars has been at home in the sign of Aries for like 6 months, which is a lot longer than it spends in any other sign. And I think for you, that would have meant a lot of emotional contentment. On the 4th of March, Mars goes into the sign of Aries, into the sign of Gemini, which is about doing things in a new way, which is really about trying to expand your horizons intellectually speaking, at least. I think the challenges that March will present you with is going to really allow you to flourish once you put these swords out, once you decide once you decide whether or not it's time to pull those swords out, right? And I'm almost tempted to like pull this off the table now, because it's kind of like a last flash of card. It's like, okay, sort this out now. Really look at it. If it's still here, it's only because there's certain things that still need to be put away from it. Let's put that away. I want to focus on these two, 10 of Pentacles and the 9 of Cups. You'll see how money, happy home, stability, commitment within this home structure really is so dependent on your frame of mind. You are currently in a really blessed place, Aries. I think Source has been quite generous. And I think you're quite receptive. And you've got everything that you need at hand. And you can really manifest a lot right now if you wish to. And this prelude to your birthday, this pre-season to your birthday, is going to ask you about how willing you are to convert pain to power. And I think that's a really nice way to describe this month for you, Aries, turning your pain into power. And a lot of that might have to do with deep breath work and really bringing yourself to stable ground. Really looking at those plugs and triggers in your life, the things that hold you down a little bit, the things that are holding you back. And I have a feeling some of those things might even be the relationship partners that you've chosen, that you're kind of slowly figuring out aren't necessarily ones that are fitting into here. Because a lot of the emotional work that you're having to do is work that you're doing on yourself, for yourself. Not to say that there isn't a part that everybody else plays in your life, like your family, but there might need to be more emotional support from the people that are in your life. Are you asking for the support? If you're feeling lonely, if you feel like you need the support, then you've got to reach out, Aries. It's got to come from you. It's got to be you reaching out. It's got to be you taking the initiative, and that's not for any other reason other than you breaking down some of your barriers and your walls. Because this is great fun, but it can be a little bit lonely. Oh, I forgot to pin the comment. Oh, I did already. It's okay. Have I got any other Aries in here? What other signs have I got? And where are you guys from? Please let me know where you're from. Know how big the net has been cast. Let me know where you're from, guys. I already know Beatles from Sydney, Australia. I'm glad that I caught you guys because I've been trying to do these where I get Australia to watch, because a lot of times I have Australians message me afterwards and like, I missed the thing. I hope this is a good time for Australia though. Do let me know. Aries, 9 of Wands. Pisces got this card too. You're very much nearing the end of a cycle, a burdensome, traumatic, heavy cycle. Moving forward, you might need a little bit more confidence in your abilities to accumulate, in your abilities to get stuff done, in your abilities to manage yourself without getting flustered. So try not to get too flustered. You've done all the things. These are all ones that no one can really take from you because they're yours now. One more wand, one more lesson, that's it. And I think that Three of Swords kind of says it all, doesn't it? There seems to be just one more thing before the cycle is completely over. And you're free to start a new cycle. But I think that might mean you count your blessings a little bit and don't see yourself in debt, having acquired all of this stuff and still feeling like you need to look over your back or still feeling battered and bruised about it is a kind of a little bit of a defeatist attitude that I don't think really suits that Aries Emperor energy. So instead of looking at it as though you are defeated by your blessings, own your power a little bit more. And stop giving away your energy, Aries. You're really giving away your energy. You don't have to be an Aries for this reading to resonate. I think if you're here for a reason. Take from it what you will. Let me know where you guys are from, though. I love knowing what part of the world you're from. You're really near the end of a cycle, Aries. And this month of March has really, really got to be about self-care. Because it is when you're that full. Expansion happens on a whole different level. And this month is going to be a lot about financial blessings, emotional contentment, but kind of balancing off. Justice card again. Really strong Libra energy throughout this reading. 6 of Wands and the 6 of Swords. Bottom of the deck, the World card. Justice energy, a real need for a bit of balance and equilibrium, a real need to maybe pull back the extra energy that you might have been wasting on triggers, on hooks, on energy siphons. That justice that you kind of seeking from all those heartaches or the people that may have done you wrong, it might be the time for that. but it's about you calling it in. And I think, Aries, you might need to kind of be reminded that, yeah, the cash is overflowing, the emotional fight, like the emotional well-being is all definitely present. But there's a little karma that you might need to go and claim yourself. And I think calling in your favors, calling in your blessings, calling in the energy that has been stolen or siphoned, calling it all back in is probably a really good idea, because 6 and 6, 12, that's the end of the cycle. So whilst there are new cycles that are starting and a bit of walking away on your part that needs to be taking place, unless you're not feeling abundant, drawing in that abundance is going to be like really hard work. Queen of Wands, King of Wands and Queen of Wands in this reading. If you're not willing to change up the experience by getting your confidence back, by accepting that it's a new cycle, and energetically things have changed also, it's not the same. You might find moving in that direction, that new direction, is what draws in this new cycle. There is a new cycle though, there is a new beginning, there is a new journey, there is this need for you to reconnect with your inner strength. Self-care, 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 Aries. This month has got to be about the self-care. New moon in Pisces is a very crown chakra, psychically charged time. The age of Aquarius is a much third eye crown chakra energy. It's your season next month. The real potential for headaches if we're not careful. And burnout. This is a lot of energy that's surging through the energy at the moment. So lots and lots of water and lots of rest. You're preparing for a new journey. Last remnants of the cycle need closing out. One little thing left for you to 9 and 9. You're kind of nearly there. One lesson that needs to just happen. I don't think it's a bad lesson. I think if anything, it's a lesson about how you're connecting with others, emotionally speaking, and how you might need to really learn to see and count your blessings for what they are, as opposed to seeing them as a burden. This full moon in Libra, opposite to you, it's gonna require focus on relationships, balancing of relationships, balancing out responsibilities within relationships. You're about to set off on a new journey, and winning might have to do a lot with it. Like, there's a lot of victory here. I would say pack light. I would say take only what you need and what's truly precious. Everything else kind of needs to be surrendered at the moment. Financially speaking, there's a lot that you're really tapping into money-wise here. The stability is here, organization, fertility, channel into your confidence also. You set off on a journey, And I think you might find that it is something that makes you really quite emotionally content and quite emotionally happy. Before you know it, everything around you sort of just changed up really quickly. And you're wearing your identity as yourself again. You know, the charm, the charisma, the power, the tenacity. Mars in Gemini is suiting you. It's a good look for you. You're embracing cycle changes. Close certain cycles up. If this is a breakup, it's the time to move on. It really is the time to move on now, Aries. Because you've learned, hopefully by now, that if you carry on with something that has been an energetic drain to you, it's really only ever going to be an energetic drain for you. If you can make amends with it, if you can make your peace with it, fantastic. But beating a dead dog is not what 2021's about. Like, all the major planets are pretty much direct now. Life can flow in a completely different direction now, once you're prepared to take the journey. And once you let the universe know that you're ready for the journey, I think you'll find you'll be on it a lot quicker than you even expected to be. Do you have any questions, guys? You can please play 1111, one question, one card. PayPal, Ruby Reads Tarot. Keep shuffling. Pain to power, Aries. Pain to power. I think a lot to do with your career also, Aries. There's been a lot of chopping and changing. And I think something's going to work out really perfectly for you. Financially, as well as something that encapsulates your talents. And I've seen this level up happening with Aries for the last year or so now. Probably more than that, last 2 years. And your expansion has really meant that your career's been it's been on a lucrative path. And a lot of the restraints that you may have ended the last decade with don't even exist anymore. And abundance, you notice, does come to you quickly when Mars is in your sign. 9 of Wands again. But that is a lot to do with a state of mind and really not letting yourself get overwhelmed. And I just wonder, Aries, if you have been letting yourself get a bit overwhelmed, because you do sometimes get yourself into that whole flustered state, and then you get a bit reactive. This is also about a response, not a reaction. But the ultimate message behind this card is always like, okay, you can't let your blessings be a curse. And if you want to be trapped within something, that's a choice. There might need to be a perspective shift. I just think that with this new moon and then this full moon in Libra opposite your sign, yeah, a lot of stuff from the past might come up. And a lot of it might feel as if it is quite burdensome and heavy, and, you know, you're unable to look at your blessings for what they truly are. And it seems quite heavy at the moment, and it is really quite burdensome. But the thing with the 9 of Wands is that there is just one more wand, one more lesson, one more skill set. before you can officially move on and say that you've closed out the cycle. But it's about expecting that cycle to change now and actually mentally preparing yourself for the shift. This full moon in Libra is going to be about balancing out a few scales. Balancing yourself out even. I'm still trying to figure out a time that's good for everyone for these lives. I love doing these lives. I think they're brilliant. I think I've discovered that for me, I like the energy being present. I like your guys' energy being present. Being mercurial, I move quite quickly. So knowing that there's other channels of energy flowing here with me is nice. You guys can be a little bit more chatty, though. I enjoy it, actually. You don't need to sit here quietly. You can talk. Good times, huh? Don't let it hold you down. Don't let it hold you back. There's one last lesson. The moon and the Seven of Wands. So a lot of lunar energy is really going to be bottom of the deck, the Eight of Pentacles. A lot of like lunar energy. Hold on, guys. Let me have some toast. Madam G. Yes, I just ate. I'm sorry. Lovely tea. Seven of Wands. I keep sensing flustered. There's this flustered energy. It's like when you're overwhelmed, over-triggered, and your energy's flustered, and you can't quite get to grips with it. And you're kind of like lashing out in all these different directions. Where it's like the last thing you need to do is overwhelm yourself with more threats of attack. Where really it would just best serve you to stop worrying. And it's so easy to say, I totally get it. But it is genuinely the best advice. All these different plugs, all these different drains, all the being poked and prodded at, that kind of needs to turn into fine-tuned energy that's really aligned. And there's a real focus on just how out of sync some of you guys might feel, especially around the time of the new moon in Pisces and then the full moon, which is going to be opposite your sign. And I think an element of that might really mean, like channeling into that energy would really mean just plugging your head into work. There's no other way to put this. It's flustered. It's unsure of itself. It's it's overcoming, but with a very limited understanding of just how blessed you are and how you still stand at a higher position than most, and where things might be hidden a little bit right now, where you might not be sure of what else to expect, but you're seeming to already expect another really hard thing to happen. I wouldn't do that. I would focus on getting aligned. I would really focus on getting aligned is basically it, because there's no other way. Like, this is totally like flustered. An alignment for you can even be deep inhaling of breath, and just remind yourself to be present in the moment. But whatever this flustered energy is, you really got to work on it over March. And if it means putting down certain burdens once and for all, certain hurts, certain heartaches, pulling the swords out once and for all, I would say the time is now. The time in the dark, voluntarily suppressing yourself. Are you letting yourself be 100% happy? Are you truly letting yourself be 100% content with your program? Spending too much time in this energy, it's not best managing your energy. It's really not. You need to focus a little bit more on work, and I think work might even be a release for you. Because there seems to be peace that surrounds this chap. He's quietly and contently plugging along. So you pick aligned, flustered. 28th of the month is when this full moon in Libra takes place opposite your sign. At that point, there's a real focus on relationships. Relationship with self, as well as love relationships, romantic relationships, as well as other kinds of relationships. My strong suggestion is get yourself out of the flustered energy. There's a little bit more work that needs to be done on something. And it will serve you, it will really serve you to stop letting yourself get so triggered and poked at and prodded, because you're only taking yourself out of alignment. At that point, you have nobody else to blame other than yourself. You can see this as things still being hidden from you, but it's not the time yet. The time is not yet for you to know. So in the meantime, get some peace, and do that by taking lead of this chap here. He's peacefully plugging away. He's got his tools around him. He's chipping away at those pentacles. You can't touch him. Whereas over here, it's not so much a pretty picture. Detaching, closing out certain emotional cycles, unplugging the irrelevance that no longer exists in your life, Aries, finally deciding to make amends with a reconciliation or a walking away from once and for all. Patterns don't lie, Aries. Patterns don't lie. Okay? Once you see something in someone, recognize it. And if you can work on it, fantastic. If you can't, then move on. Because your peace of mind and your stability, Aries, isn't and shouldn't ever be up for gamble, you know? And I know Aries loves that because it kind of charges them, but it just shows me at the moment that your energy isn't 100% ready for all of that highly triggered sparks. And it's distracting you from really achieving what you want. And if you find yourself constantly in that lower state of mind, triggered by any next idiot, is that, you gotta ask yourself, is that a life experience that you really want? And just remind yourself to breathe, huh? Present moment. Come back to the present moment, huh? Guys, we've got one card, 1111, PayPal Ruby Reads Tarot, if you'd like any questions. We've got 15 minutes to go. And then I will be logging off. Might come back later for another sign, we'll see. The Tower card. The much needed change. The much needed change, characters, energy, atmosphere, situation. Towers coming down for me is brilliant because it means everything that was not working, everything that was built on shaky grounds, everything that was unstable, everything that just was gets to change. And if you were reluctant for the change, I wouldn't see this as a bad thing. I would see this as a really good thing. Because now at least you get an opportunity to fight. A fair fight. Not a staggered fight. It might feel like a lot has changed. And a lot is changing. And isn't that ultimately a good thing, Aries? You like an adventure, you like a challenge. And this month, shake it up. Because if it hasn't been working and your peace of mind has been put to the test, let it crumble now, okay? Because your peace of mind is more important than whatever this situation was. And it's that constant anticipation for things to go wrong and things to be bad. And that constant anticipation is what has meant that the energy just was not stable enough for you to hold whatever was built on fake, false pretense. You just couldn't hold it together anymore. Let it crumble. Let the new in. It is a time for a new cycle. By the time of the full moon in Libra, well, the moon will be opposite your sign. It's make it or break it time. But I think a lot of unhealthy conventions that you'd surround yourself by have to now come down. And it's not a bad thing. It might feel like a bad thing at the time, but trust me, once the dust has settled, and once the obvious catastrophe of it all has simmered and settled a little bit, you begin to see new birth, new growth. It changes up way quicker than you even expected it to. But that's if you're accepting and allowing of the fact that things do need to change. And you do need to make certain changes to what you accept. How much of it damages your own foundation. The input of energy from other people, if it's not conducive to your growth or your safety or your stability, what else is it that you can do to maybe protect your boundaries? If things come down, Aries, and you're happy, then make sure the next time you set things up is done in such a way that you yourself, at least, know that you're on a firm foundation that nobody else can shake. And that doesn't even need to be things that are dependent on other people. This could be completely yourself. So maybe there is this need to rebuild yourself where you're not as vulnerable or not as easy to shake or not as easy to break even. So it's, after having Mars in your sign for the last 6 months, should have hopefully, yes, broken down all the conventions that weren't necessarily in true alignment with your higher self. But you have a space now, a free space to build properly in a way that is not as shakeable is a lot more stable and isn't as triggered, isn't as quick to get flustered. We've already seen the month of March is financially blessed. And I think a lot of financial contentment as well as inner emotional peace is what the month of March can be all about for you. Guys, we've got 10 minutes left. If you guys want to ask any questions, it's one question, one card answer, 1111 at my PayPal, Ruby Reads Tarot. Let's see. 9 of Cups. March is that month for you, Aries. A lot of inner contentment, emotional gratification. You really do get to see yourself in a way that you didn't before. And you've worked really hard for getting those cups together. And whilst it's amazing that you're in this wonderful place, it does get a little bit lonely. So maybe try and figure out a way that you can share those cups, but not in such a way that you end up depleted by them. Don't give too much away. Let other people do their bit, Aries. Let other people step forward too. Let other people take care of you too. You don't have to be putting out all the hard work all the time, all the effort all the time. Focus a lot more on those cups. Focus a lot more on how much work goes into creating this environment. And it has to do with you. It's all you. And unplugging yourself from those drains and being aware of the fact that if your boundaries aren't firm enough, if your boundaries aren't high enough, if your boundaries aren't even there, coming to this stage is nearly impossible. It'll be nearly impossible. And there is a risk for getting back to this place, emotionally content within oneself, cutting off the drains, accepting the fact that stuff that was just not working, you couldn't drag it forward with you because we're entering this new cycle. 2021 starts with your birthday. So here we are, with a goal in mind and clear instruction that flustered energy is no longer serving you and being built on shaky ground and being shook. It's not conducive. It's not a recipe for this. But the 9 of Wands, I tell you, is a place to be in that can help you appreciate this. And if you've been in that 901 cycle, which I think you might have been in for some time now, problematic, burdensome, heavy, just no release, no break, you get to change it into the 9 of Cups. And it's only through that hard work that you've done. So the work's already been done. Be ready to receive. And be really aware of how precious the contents of those cups are. And if you surround yourself with anyone, they better not be dropping those cups or spilling anything out of those cups. So if they're in your present company, if they're around you, make sure that they're very respectful of how much hard work has gone into those cups, attaining those cups, maintaining those cups. Because you're all right. You're good, Aries. But if somebody steps in, they got to be mighty respectful of the hard work that has gone into you being you. And it's not easy. 9 of Wands is not easy, but it's a rite of passage. And you're here now, and hopefully this teaches you to only let the most respectful, the most utmost respectful types here now. I think some of you are going to Africa. I don't know where that came from. But some of you are going to Africa. You might be traveling alone. And And let's have some closing out messages for Aries. If anybody has any questions, you can go ahead and ask them now. It's 1111 PayPal Ruby Reads Tarot. Let's get some closing out messages for Aries. Closing out messages for Aries for the month of March 2021. Sun is just about to illuminate your sign. It's a lot of healing energy poured all over your self-confidence, your ego, your natural abundance, your magnetism, your health. Let's have a closing out message for sign of Aries for March 21. Aries, I think it would serve you to wear turquoise this month. Eight of Pentacles. Work on your abundance this month. Work on your stability. Work on your ability to create independence. Work on Billy Bojangles. No. There we go. Work on your pentacles. Work on the things that really put you in the zone. Work on the things that mean that you get to create the life that you want. Real heavy emphasis on work. Real need to plug in. Real need to really get your head down. I think the month of March will be quite flush for you. But it's not chancing it. It's dedication, it's hard work, it's the need to plug in. I think get aligned as much as you can, Aries. Really try and plug in to the work energy that's around you. It is masculine yang energy. So really see where it is that you can try and create a peaceful place for you to just really get on with it. And then I would say crack on. Really push forward. A space to work is what, like, yeah, a space to work. I feel like you need to create a space. And if you're creating that space for work, then I think the best thing for you to do is to kind of let yourself unplug from the rest of the world. Unplug and get in the zone. I think that's all I have for Aries for the month of March. Do I have any questions? Okay, so guys, thank you so much for joining me. Have a wonderful Tuesday. Again, I think I really enjoy doing things in this way. I like having your energy present. You guys let me know where you're from. That's always fantastic. Have a beautiful, beautiful day. Thank you for joining me. And I shall catch you again for some more of this fun. Take care, guys.